Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with part 2 of the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster reissue upgrade collaboration video, where we just talk about the buffs that the Final Fantasy mainline units are getting this week in War of the Visions. And for part 2, we are going to start with an absolute banger. I'm going to talk about one of the units I am most excited to start playing again, and I'm talking about Noctis. Now, Noctis's old master ability looks really sad on paper, right? He had his group buff. Okay, that's good. The group buff is good. We all like this group buff if you're playing Mono Earth. But then it had one line in it: defense penetration 25. His actual master ability was just defense penetration 25. And to be fair, when Noctis came out, defense penetration 25 was really good. We're talking a time in the game when like having defense penetration made you a like hard-hitting DPS unit, right? Now Noctis does a lot of things. He just needs a lot of help in this area, and boy oh boy does he get it. So let's switch over to the JP side. Let's translate everything and see what he's getting. So he gets an upgrade skill, Phantom Rush. We'll go check that out here in a minute. He gets attack plus 10%. He keeps his 25 defense pin, and he picks up single target resist 15. Great. His master ability too is phenomenal. His dream enhancement is literally just 15% more physical damage. We like to see that. So good, just straight up doing more damage, and an upgrade to Power of the True King, the buff that gave him his follow-up attack. Let's go look at these buffs, and we're going to start with that one, because if you were just on this site browsing around, you might not understand what this buff was. Previously, he already had this move doing this: 20 defense increase, follow-up attack, 40% attack, 40% magic buff for self. It looks like nothing changed here, but what happened is the follow-up attack itself got upgraded. If we look at it, previously it did 121% non-elemental typeless damage that scaled off of magic. Now it still scales the same way, it's still the same modifier, it's still elementalist, but it decreases single target resist by 20% on the target for 3 turns. Huge upgrade. He actually has a way of debuffing single target resist on a target with his follow-up attack after giving himself his like massive steroid. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then let's not forget, his Shift Strike also gets an upgrade right here. This move to target panel, decrease defense by 30. It still does those things. Now it reduces counter chance by 100 for 3 turns from the target. Still does its same modifier. Nothing else changes with this, except that now he has a way of completely disabling counterattack moves from a target if he does his like Warp Strike or Shift's Break, whatever it's called on this JP translation. So overall, I think Noctis got a big time hookup. You will probably see some Noctises running around in PvP with as good of a buff as he got right here. I think it's like top of the line, right? Is it still kind of a meme that his follow-up attack is magical and not physical? Yeah, it is kind of a meme still, and it kind of dodges this buff, but hey, I don't know, it's still really good. That single target resist decrease that it has on it is really nice. I think this guy got a huge buff, and Noctis fans will be very, very happy about that. Next up, we've got Promptu. Now, Promptu had his group buff. He had 15 defense pin and 10 attack. Really good master ability for back in the day. What does he have nowadays? Well, let's translate this. He keeps his 15 defense pin, his 10 attack turns into 20, he gets 40 reaction block rate, and acquired AP up 30. Very, very nice. I especially like acquired AP up on range characters because a lot of them only get about 1 turn to buff, so you get a little bit more AP out of that 1 turn you're buffing. He then picks up missile attack resist pin 20, so he's got defense pin here, he's got missile attack pin here, he's ready to do some damage. He picks up 20 critical hit rate, and his darkness bullet skill gets upgraded. So let's go look at Darkness Bullet. Here it is. It now decreases dark resist by 25%. That's really good. 50% chance to inflict blind for 3 turns. Okay, so it did all of that anyway. Now 200% modifier still does that, but it's a piercing move now. Doesn't seem like a huge buff, but there's also a buff over here. Previously with this shot, you had to be like exactly 3 or 4 panels away from somebody. Now you can hit people that are next to you with this. So this being a big modifier attack with all of these debuffs to it, it's a move he wanted to use. Now he can use it if you're close to somebody. I'm a little lukewarm on that. Like, I do think it's a nice skill upgrade, and I think overall Promptu got a lot of nice buffs right here, but he's still a 90 cost unit that feels more like an 80 or a 70 cost unit to me. I think there's some fun teams you can make with like ranged and dark characters and stuff like that, but unlike his bro in his car, they're riding cars in the bros in the car. Yeah, whatever I'm trying to say. You know what I mean. Unlike his car brother Noctis, he does not get like a top tier upgrade in my opinion. Still a nice one if you're a fan of Promptu. He's more usable now than he was before. Okay, Aranea. Here's a girl with a lot of fans. Her old master ability was this. She had her group buff, 10% agility, 5 critical damage. Like, it's kind of laughable, right? I mean, 10% agility, you'll take that today. That's still great. But 5 critical damage is like, oh my gosh, it's almost laughably bad in the game today. So what does she get? Well, she keeps the agility. The critical damage goes to 15. Thank you. That's nice. So at least we don't have to stare at that 5 anymore. She gets pierce attack, resist penetration 20. That's really nice. And she drops aggro by 3. I like this. I think this is a really good master ability for a unit that didn't suck already. Like, piercing is still hard to deal with in today's game, and her piercing will be even harder to deal with because if you do run into somebody with some pierce resist, she's now better at penetrating it. Okay, she also gets activation time down, which is usually a mage thing, but for her it's a big deal because her jumps have timers on them, so having activation time down is nice. She gets reaction block rate, which is a very modern thing, and her Dragon Leap skill gets upgraded. So let's go look at Dragon Leap. It's right here. Let's just look at what it was in the beginning. It's gotten a lot of love over the days, right? So, okay, well, here was its old form. How about this? It is a single target resist debuff. That's already really nice. It's 100% hit move, 185% modifier. Still all of those things, but now it also has a chance of inflicting frostbite. Frostbite's really good. And so overall, I think Aranea is in a decent spot. She's not top tier. She's still 90 cost and feels more like an 80 cost unit to me. But if you see an Aranea running around now in like a PvP match, it's not as easy as of a win as it used to be. If you're a fan of this unit, you can force her now and kind of lean into the fact that piercing is hard to deal with. She's going to hit hard. Now she can also inflict frostbite. It's pretty cool. She's a good unit. She's got a lot of fans, and I think you'll see her around. Now, guys, brace yourself. We're going to switch over to KANE here. Look at this master ability. KANE and his friends, ROSA, CECIL, Gobz, all came out back in the day when we didn't even have group buffs. Like, master abilities had yet to receive the HP and elemental attack buff. KANE, it made units like KANE, ROSA, CECIL, Gobz, these guys. Oh, Gobz actually came out and has his, but okay, that's just embarrassing. But KANE, like, it's really hard to use them, even in a mono element team, because you're like, God, I'm even sacrificing that. Now, his old master ability was good. 20 defense penetration and 10 accuracy. You'll take those stats, but my God, do these people need some love. And he gets it. He gets a lot of love. So let's see. He gets the group buff, that's needed. He gains 15 pierce attack, okay, that's good. His defense pin goes from 20 to 40, okay, that's good. And the accuracy stays at 10. Overall, really nice master ability too for KANE. His dream ability is activation time down, just like we were talking about with Aranea. That's going to be important for his jumps coming in faster. He gains 20 accuracy, and Ceiling Dive, which is, the JP name, gets upgraded. So let's look at this. It's his job level 25 ability. Previously, it counterattacks off. Yeah, 100 counterattack removal. That's good. It still does that, but now he gets 50 defense penetration for this move. That's a big deal. That's going to make this thing hit a lot harder. Also, the 185% modifier continues to scale if the units are slow, confused, have AP restore, or healing power down. And then look at this. The range on this move gets an insane buff. Previously, it was range 3 that could hit to range 4 with the AoE. Now it's range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that can hit up to 6. It gets 2 additional range. This thing is now like horizontal jump levels of range. That's insane. This is a really, really good buff for KANE. Like, I'm not joking, you guys. It's a really, really good buff for KANE. I would not be surprised to see some KANEs running around, especially in cost limited situations where he's an 80 cost unit. They did not overprice this guy, and now that he's got these modern buffs, and once again he's a piercing unit, don't be shocked to see some KANE running around, and that'll make a lot of people really, really happy because KANE is cool as hell. Okay, moving on. ROSA. One of the only units on this list I don't have is ROSA. Her master ability was 10% magic and 10 spirit. You know, wah, wah, wah. What does she get now? Well, Rosa's getting this. She gets Miracle of 2 Moons upgraded. She gets the group buff. Magic 10, Spirit 10 stay the same, but she does pick up 20 AoE resist. That's a big deal because one of Rosa's drawbacks was she was short range, right? She always ended up like grouped with her team and that would get her killed. Well, 20 AoE resist will help with that. She's also getting healing power up. She is a unit that heals. She's getting activation time down 400, which is a lot. And then Erase is getting an upgrade. So 2 skills getting upgraded right here. We're going to go look at both of them. Erase was her job level 25 move. It gains a second cast. So this is full life is what this is. So she has 2 full lives now. That's pretty powerful. Like if nothing else, that itself is pretty powerful. And oh my gosh, excuse me. Miracle of 2 Moons, that upgrade is her limit break. Now, this is her big time heal, right? But this is what I was talking about. This is what would get her killed. She would want to walk into her group and use this ability because it's pretty good. It's a big heal, gives them AP, and increases HP for herself. So heals her group, heals herself, gives AP to everybody. Still does all of that stuff. But now the AoE is not just a square, it's a diamond, allowing her to be a little bit further away or hit maybe like all of her teammates instead of just one. It's a good upgrade to that skill. It's a needed upgrade to that skill. I think her strongest thing is the second catching of full life. The trick with Rosa will be, does she survive long enough to use full life twice? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Still, it's a good upgrade for Rosa, and there are some Rosa fans out there. Next up, CECIL. It's sad, guys. He has 1 line. His master ability is light attack 15. Come on, man. I love CECIL, you guys. Not like CECIL, the character in his game is not like, is kind of just whatever for me, but the character in War of the Visions, I tried to hard force this guy so often. I just loved what his kit did with like granting the shields and everything, but he needs a lot. He needs a lot for me to try using him again, maybe with my new Helena, I don't know. Let's see what he gets. So, okay, before anything else, I do want to mention, if you're into raising bravery, AFK, Saint Circlet, this is your chance to get Saint Circlet, which is this buff that has a bravery increase on it. What you do is you go get CECIL, you get him to level 99, you get Saint Circlet, and then in auto farming, like just background, not background repeat, that doesn't count, but like, you know, repeating missions, you have somebody in your group who the only skill they have on is their TMR, and you put Saint Circlet on them, and they raise the bravery of everybody in your team really fast. Yes, you can use the barracks to take them to 97, but that takes like 3 days. You can do it in 25 minutes with this. So I did want to mention that is still a usefulness of CECIL. Back to the upgrade. So he gets reduced physical damage taken 50% 3 times per self. He walks into the fight with a 50% physical damage reducing shield. Very important because he likes to buff shields, but you don't want him buffing himself always. He gets his buff to start. I like that a lot. He gets the group buff. He keeps his light attack 15. He also gets slash attack resistance penetration 30. This is a guy who can hit pretty hard if you have everything go for him. Now at least you get a little bit more slash attack penetration. He picks up some agility, which he needed. They meme and give him another 15 light attack, which it's good, but like I really feel like they're just kind of like, you know, I feel like it's a little bit of a meme. And then Reward of Light, that skill gets upgraded. So let's go look at Reward of Light. It's right here. This is his damaging move. So it increases defense penetration 40 for 3 turns for self. Still does that. Now increases healing power for self, which would clue you in to what this move is going to do. Still 200% modifier. Damage increases as his HP decreases. And now it absorbs 70% of the damage done. So he has a 2-hit move right here that will like kind of help him, like, I'm gonna say drain tank. I don't mean that exactly because he's not a tank, but he can like bruise a little bit better and then keep himself alive. I like this upgrade for the skill, and my god, I'll probably try to use CECIL again because I've always just liked this barrier that he can give. Wall of Dedication. It costs him 10% of his HP, which does help with the damage on this move right here, but he gives a 50% physical damage shield to allies in an AoE. Like, this move seems so good. It seems like something I should be able to abuse and make work, but shields just aren't what they used to be. Maybe with all the buffs, his classification is Sword Red Mage, which just I hate. If he was Sword Knight, I try to run him with, like, you know, Bradley and Squall and the boys. It's just gonna make it. Red Mage has a lot of cards. I don't know, man. This dude's a knight. He's literally a knight. Change him to Sword Knight, for heaven's sake. Now we got Gobz. Now, Gobz already had the group buff in his master ability, so that's something. Then he had 15% magic and activation time down 300. Pretty solid. You could tell he came out later than the rest of the people in his collaboration. He keeps all of that stuff. None of it changes. He does pick up 15 accuracy and 10 sealed target resist. The deal with Gobz was he's supposed to be this like really hard to kill short range mage. Well, he needs to be harder to kill. We need to just go ahead and make him harder to kill. 10 single target resist will help with that. 10% more HP will help with that. Reaction block rate helps with everything. And then Fangs of Despair. Let's see what this upgrade to Fangs of Despair looks like. Here it is. So previously, this was 165% modifier and a nice big AoE. It's still that. It's still a Spirit debuff by 30, 25% chance to immobilize. It's still that, but now it decreases defense penetration by 30 for targets. So he comes now with a move that can take defense penetration away from the people he's fighting. That's a very modern thing. It's not something a ton of people in the game can do. So I am happy Gobz gets some love right here. I still think he suffers from like most of the things he suffered from in the first place. I doubt you see a lot more Gobz used. Again, he's 90 cost. None of them were 100 cost, which is good. And maybe we'll see some Gobz action. There are some like really hardcore Gobz fans out there that will probably still continue to try and hard force him, and it's much better now, but his buff was not nearly as big as somebody like KANE's or, you know, gosh, Noctis, somebody like that. Okay, guys, that's it. That's all the Pixel Remaster buffs. It's 2 videos worth of content. It's like 40 minutes almost worth of talking about this, so I am happy I decided to split it into 2. Once again, I do want to say thank you to Dark2063. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel, and thank you to everybody who has supported me over the years. Guys, if you're buying anything on Black Friday, that Amazon affiliate link in the description, whatever you buy on Amazon, don't just give all that money to Jeffrey B. Give some of that money to me. That rhymed. I didn't. That's kind of lame. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope y'all eat a lot of food, whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving or not today. Make it a good one. I'll see you next time. Peace.